Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the Eli 2023 kickoff. We are excited to begin this next phase of the Emerging Leaders Internship program as we transition to the mock interviews that are coming up very, very soon over the next couple of weeks. And so we are really excited for the mock interviews that will be happening tomorrow and next week. And so grateful for and excited for and proud of our Eli applicants. Congratulations on making it to this phase. We are rooting for you, and we hope that you're encouraged as you move into this next process. And so grateful for you tuning in, whether you are a Eli applicant or whether you are a company partner or whether you're a volunteer or somebody from the community. Just so grateful for another year to be able to celebrate and to be able to just be excited about, kicking off this next phase and this next part of our programming. My name is Nick Poindexter. I'm the Senior Director of the Emerging Leaders Program, and I'm really grateful to be able to be with you and speak to you and also just share some, we have an exciting program for you and looking forward to sharing more and just being in this moment together. So thank you again for tuning in. So you know what to expect during our time together? Well, we already had a welcome. So welcome again. I hope that you are enjoying yourself so far and glad that you're here. And we'll have a land acknowledgement. We'll have an Eli alumni guest speaker. We'll have a keynote speaker. We'll have an Eli candidate snapshot. So you learn more about the applicants this year. And we'll also share more about phase 3 and summary events. So that's what you're going to expect during our time together as you're tuning in. Thanks again. So I'll begin with a land acknowledgement. Today, we would like to acknowledge the people whose land we are gathered on from our respective positions. Present-day Portland is located on the traditional village sites of the Multnomah, Wasco, Cowlitz, Cathlamet, Clackamas, Bands of Chinook, Walton, Kaliapuya, Molalla, and many other tribes who made their homes along the Columbia and Willamette rivers. Let us also acknowledge the robust Native community made up of tribal diversity that originates from around the country and whose journeys have brought them to Portland by ways of forced displacement or seeking opportunities. Today, these same communities celebrate their heritage, showing resilience and tenacity that would be greatly admired by their ancestors. This land acknowledgement is important. I also want to encourage you to think about ways you can support Indigenous organizations by donating your time and or money. You can also donate to funds for specific tribes or nations and smaller communities within them, as well as funds that support the well-being of Native Indigenous communities. So just wanted to name that and have this time to pause for land acknowledgement. Next, I would like to thank our Eli 2023 company partners and mock interview volunteers. We are grateful for your support of Emerging Leaders, and we couldn't do it without you. Whether you're volunteering as an Eli evaluator or volunteering in another capacity, thank you so much. And Eli 2023 company partners, thank you, thank you, thank you. We appreciate you creating access, creating opportunities for our amazing leaders, and we're excited for another successful and exciting opportunity to partner together. So thank you all for joining us and being in community with us and collaborating with us to continue to elevate the amazing leaders we serve. We'd also like to recognize additional event sponsors, including Work Systems and platinum backers of our partner program, SIGN, which are Dutch Bros, Thesis, PNC Bank, and Advantage Credit Union. Thank you for your support. We are so grateful, again, like I said, grateful for our Eli 2023 company partners and grateful for our additional event sponsors that are continuing to support us and and be a part of the work that we're doing as we elevate the leaders we serve. So thank you so much again. Next up, I want to introduce you to our alumni guest speaker, Jesse Katz. And Jesse is currently a first-generation student success coordinator and Liberation Scholars Project Manager at George Fox University. Jesse participated in Eli 2019, interning at Thesis, and is a George Fox University graduate. So welcome, Jesse Katz.
Bienvenidos and welcome, emerging leaders. My name is Jesse Katz. My pronouns are he, him, his. I happen to have been part of the cohort of 2019. I currently work at George Fox University, and my main job is to serve first-generation college students. I was once a first-gen college student, so what I get to do is very near and dear to my heart. I'm also a graduate student in marriage and family therapy as well. So my experience with emerging leaders, it was unique. Like I said, I was a first-gen graduate, first-gen professional, part of the Latino community. And I think part of what was new for me was I kind of felt like an imposter when I began my role. And eventually, through time, I kind of built some confidence and definitely gained this sense of belonging. But my favorite parts of emerging leaders, I can think of three things on the dot. The first is those cohort meetings that are hosted throughout the summer for all the interns to gather together. The second, there was a poetry slam, which I am a fan of poetry, and so I thoroughly enjoyed. And the third thing, and this is part of an encouragement for y'all, but I happen to had the privilege of being a project management intern at Thesis Agency. And one of my favorite things was I had the ability to really schedule random meetings with everyone that worked at Thesis. Really get random coffee times, lunch times. That's kind of a tip that I would give y'all because people remember your story. They remember it, and when you're at these locations, it is very important for you to connect with the individuals and of the companies that you're working with. The other piece that I would say, a tip that I would give is everybody that is in the room that you're in. So take a glance around the room. Nobody can do your role like you can do it. And what I mean by that is, my encouragement to you is to figure out what kind of flavor, unique flavor, can you add to the role that you'll be stepping into? Because that is essential, because no one else can add the unique flavor that you can add. And that is the difference maker. The second thing I would say is, as you're engaging in interviews, is please show up early and prepare. I know those are simple things, but they really make a difference. Nobody wants to be in rush hour traffic trying to make an interview. Now, as I move on, I'm thinking about ways that emerging leaders has impacted me. And a couple of ways. The first is your cohort of emerging leaders. Whether you recognize it or not, these are going to be your colleagues. These are individuals that you will be able to connect with as they progress in their careers and as you're seeking opportunities as well. So this is such a golden opportunity. The second thing is, because I was able to connect with individuals at Thesis Agency, I'm still in connection with some of those individuals, and it has meant the world to me. So that's my encouragement to y'all. You can do this. Add your flavor and just enjoy the moment that you're in. But anyways, I'm super excited for y'all, and I hope the best for you along your journey.
Next up, I would like to introduce you to our keynote speaker, Tyler Monk, founder of the Underdog Mentality. Tyler is a first-generation college graduate and entrepreneur. He grew up in the inner city of Portland, Oregon, where he struggled academically throughout high school. At 16, Tyler made a decision to follow his passion of playing basketball. This forced him to focus on his academics, where he began to find purpose in his educational journey. Tyler used basketball to earn a full-ride scholarship to play in college. After graduating with a degree in management and leadership theory, Tyler worked for the Boys and Girls Club, Gear Up, and for 5 years served as a director at the contingent. In 2018, Tyler launched the inspirational storytelling company, The Underdog Mentality. The underdog mentality is an adoption of an overcoming obstacles mindset. Their mantra is an unwavering belief in self despite the circumstances, conditions, and critics that surround us, that surrounds a person. So thank you, Tyler, for being with us, and really excited to again introduce Tyler Monk, founder of the Underdog Mentality.
You cannot see what you do not believe, and you cannot believe what you do not look for. So my question to you today to marinate on is, what do you believe to be true about the gifts and the abilities and the passions that you bring into this world? And what opportunities are you looking for to engage and to enhance those skills that you have and abilities within you? My name is Tyler Monk. I'm the founder and inspirational storyteller for the Underdog Mentality. And previous to that, I worked for the contingent and served in the scholarship and leadership division. Did some work with the Emerging Leader Internship program, but I have such a passion to help people make that transition from whether it be high school to college and college into career. I've worked with young people for the past 20 years. I'm a first generation entrepreneur, first generation college graduate, first generation pretty much everything, just trying to figure this thing out. And what I would tell you is this right now: you deserve to be in this room. You deserve to be here. You've earned the opportunity to be in this room, but now you got to compete. And you're not competing necessarily, I guess you are, against other candidates, you are, but you're competing with yourself. You're competing with yourself. You have to show up and be the best version of you. So I want you to be three things, and I'm going to follow up with this as we wrap up towards the end. Number one, I want you to be you. Number two, I want you to be new. And number three, I want you to be glue. And we're going to get to those. Before we dive into that, I want you to understand this, that commitment means staying true to what you said long after the feeling has passed that you said it in. Ooh, hits you like a ton of bricks. Commitment is staying true to what we said long after the feeling has passed that we said it in. So when you made it a commitment to go through this process, to go through these interviews, to show up, to respond to emails, to making sure you're turning in the documentation that you need to turn in, I would encourage you to do so. I would encourage you to do so. I know some of us are sitting here right now and we might be in a place of a little bit of anxiety or fear, the unknown. We fear the unknown. That's us as humans. Here's what's funny. I do public speaking, professional speaking, speak all the time. I've been speaking for years, but I was no good at this when I first started. Matter of fact, I was trash. And I think there's a process to becoming excellent, exceptional at whatever you choose to do. The first step is you suck. We got to live in the reality. If we have never done something before, we got to live in the reality that we're just not good at it. So you suck, then you might come to decent, good, great, and then excellent and exceptional. Here's what I know about public speaking. I had a huge fear of this. I know I wanted to do it, but I had a fear in my heart. I felt like, why would people want to listen to me? I come from an underprivileged, underserved background. Didn't have a lot of resources. Why would anybody want to hear my message? And I kind of had this imposter syndrome that maybe some of you, and I'm not putting this on you, but maybe you've experienced this as well. You feel like you might not belong because of, if they only knew my story, if they only knew my background. And the reality is, no, that's why you're here, because we need you to be here. You deserve to be here. You've earned the space to be here. So when I started getting into speaking, what I realized was one of the greatest fears people have, it's like top 5, is public speaking. Speaking in front of other humans. It's like top 5 greatest fears. You know what comes after the fear of public speaking? Death. Listen, people rather die before they give a talk. How you gonna speak and you dead? What are we even doing? People are so afraid to fail. And here's what I would tell you. My young folks, y'all deserve this moment. The fear of failure does not weigh as heavy as the fear of regret. The fear of regret weighs a ton. You do not want to regret things in your life. So I would challenge you. I would encourage you. I would implore you to step into a place of, might be a little fearful for you, sitting down in front of some folks and they're interviewing you. You're going through this process, but I'm telling you, it's going to be worth it. Regardless if you get an internship or not, because the reality is not everybody is going to get an internship. We wish we could give this to every one of you. But the reality is it's a competitive process and you got to show up. And if you don't get an internship, I would say this: the best teacher is reflective experience. It's not just experience. A lot of people get experiences and get older, but they don't get any better. They just get old and dusty. Wisdom, okay, sometimes comes alone. Sometimes wisdom comes alone. I know some 17-year-olds who are not that old, 17, 18-year-olds, but they got a lot of wisdom because they've reflected on their experiences. But sometimes age comes alone. What does that mean? You're not getting any better because you're not reflecting on your experiences. So what I'm telling you right now is if you do not get this internship, or even if you do, you need to reflect on, okay, how could I have been better? What could I improve on? Ask questions, be inquisitive. It's much better to look uninformed than it is to be uninformed. Ask those questions. So let's talk about the power of belief and choice. You see, when I created my brand as an entrepreneur, this is back in 2018, I knew my why. I knew I wanted to help people tap into the power of their potential so they can lean into their greatness. You see, when you sit down in these interviews, they're going to tell you, like, they're going to ask you probably a simple question in some form or fashion. Tell us about yourself. What are some strengths that you have? What are some passions that you have? Why are you applying for this role? And you need to know what it is that's within you, that why you're doing it. What is the essence of why this is important to you in whatever industry that you're in? You see, we got to have the power of belief. And there's one of my favorite quotes that says this: you cannot see what you do not believe, and you cannot believe what you do not look for. Let me say it again. You cannot see what you do not believe, and you cannot believe what you do not look for. So my people, let me talk to you. What do you believe to be true about what you have inside of you? What do you believe to be true about your potential? And what opportunities are you looking for to seek out, to engage, to help grow that potential? I want you to think about this for a moment. Just take a second. Do you have people around you that are telling you that, I believe in you, I see greatness within you, I know you can accomplish whatever you set your mind to? You know, see, they believe in you. They challenge you too when they see you slipping, tripping, not doing what you should be doing. Do you have those people in your life? If you don't, here's a reality check. You better get some new friends. Get some new homies. You see, you want to surround yourself with people that believe in you, that you're biggest cheerleaders, but also they hold you accountable to the things that you say that you want. Relationships are everything. Who you kick it with, you get it with. So surround yourself with people that believe in you. And what I would tell you right now is you are surrounded with this Emerging Leaders team, with all the volunteers that are coming, that are going to be here, walking you through these mock interviews, helping you, that they believe in you. But you got to believe in yourself first, because you can't see what you don't believe, and you can't believe what you don't look for. So again, you have to believe in you. Now let's talk about intentions versus actions. Here's what's interesting about this. Intentions essentially is internal things that we think. I intended to show up to that mock interview, or I intended to follow up on that email from that employer that was, wanting some documentation from me on some stuff I needed to get them. I intended to do that. And internally, we judge ourselves based off intentions. Externally, in this world, you are judged off actions. I'll tell you this, up and down like a seesaw, straight up and down. The world, the universe, however you perceive that, they don't really have a concern, or they don't have any compassion for the validity of our excuses. They have no sympathy for it. And when I say they, I'm not speaking about like a specific person. I'm talking about the success and the results we want. Does not care about the validity of our excuses. So intentions are great. We always intend to do the right thing, but really what it comes down to is you got to make the right decisions that create the actions and the results that you want. You live and you learn. Again, reflection. So if you're not in a space where you want to be, if you do this interview and you kind of maybe fall flat and you just don't do a good job, how do we reflect? How do we hold accountable responsibility for the actions that we took in our preparedness for that interview? So what I would encourage you to do is when you're getting emails, when you're getting messages, when you're sitting down doing these mock interviews, or you're sitting down and you go past the mock interview stage and now you're actually getting an interview with a company, I would encourage you to make sure you're having the right actions towards that. Your intentions are great, but it's all about actions. So make sure that your actions are meeting your intentions, and I guarantee that will help you tremendously. Now let's talk about this. I want to talk about potential. You see, everything that I do centered around my life is based out of the possibility that there's an opportunity for greatness. It's the power of belief and choice. You see, as underserved folks, everyone, I'm not going to say everyone, but the majority of you watching this video right now have been underserved in some capacity in different areas of your life. And as underserved folks, a lot of the times we get labeled as such things, right? That we have less than, that we're, we need more help than others. And a lot of that is true. We need more, we don't have the same resources that some other folks might have, right? Whether you live in a rural part of the state, and you don't have access to the same resource that somebody might have if they live in Portland, or vice versa. You maybe grew up in a financially challenged background. You're a first generation, professional, entrepreneur, college going student, whatever the case is. There's been underserved capacity. What I would encourage you to understand, and this is what has helped really serve me, is yes, I might come from a background of financial struggle and challenge. Yes, I might come from a background of some abuse and things that I had no control over. You see, there's things in your life that are not your fault. These typically happen at a younger age when you didn't have, the ability to really make choice. It just, things happen to you. And through those things happening to you, what I see a lot of the times is we can develop a mindset that we can't overcome these challenges or these struggles based on our circumstances and our conditions. What I'm here to tell you right now is you have power of choice for your action and your attitude. That's the only things that you can control. Whatever happens to you, you choose to respond in a certain way. Then you get to choose to respond through attitude, through the way you treat other humans. Are you going to be a light in the room when you walk in? Or are you going to be a light in the room when you leave? Thanks for coming. We don't want you back. Who are you going to choose to be? You see, life is not about what our circumstances and our conditions are, because a lot of the times we can't control those, y'all. What it's about is, how do you manifest yourself in a way? How do you navigate the challenges in the life of chaos, potentially, that a lot of us might have, in a way that allows you to reach your full potential? You see, potential is a present but not yet visible excellence or ability that is just yet to be developed. You see, it's this greatness within you. Since some of y'all probably watch this show, it's called Chopped. It's on the Food Network channel. I love it to death. Oh my gosh, I love competition. I love cooking. And you watch this show and you got 4 chefs that are competing. And on the show, what happens is they all get these baskets of mystery ingredients. And when I say mystery ingredients, because they don't know what they are until they open the basket. And these ingredients are wild. I've seen before, like, cactus, alligator tongue, beets, lemon heads, and Skittles. And they like, you got to make me a meal, go. And all the judges, you got the judges over here, and they're telling us, like, hey, this is going to be a tough round. I don't know if they can make anything with this. And you got these chefs, and they get to work right away. You got 4 chefs, and they start going to the pantry, grabbing different items, and start making these meals. And what I realized was, when I would watch this show, what the judges would say to the person that would actually win the show, they would say a couple of words that really helped me think about the power of potential. They would say, you know what? You transformed these ingredients. You maximized the potential of these ingredients. You see, what I want to tell you right now is you all have the same ingredients within you. You see, we have a lot more in common than we do have things in difference. We need to highlight our differences and our uniqueness. But let's talk about the things that we have in common. Number 1, if you're watching this video, you have breath in your lung. Be grateful. If you're watching this video, you have the power of choice. Be thankful. And my sister, rest in peace, my sister, Melissa May Monk, I was complaining to her. I was like, I want to build this business. I don't got enough time. I got work. I'm busy here. I got 6 children over here. I'm trying to figure it all out. She said, Tyler, let me tell you something. She's like, you know Beyonce? I said, girl, you know I know Beyonce. That's your second favorite person behind me. I said, what about Beyonce? She said, well, Beyonce has 24 hours in a day. I said, okay. And she said, so do you. I said, ooh, ton of bricks hit me heavy. You see, we all have the same time in the day. It's about prioritization. Whatever you prioritize in your life, where you spend your time, really shows what you prioritize in your life. So how much time are you spending developing you? How much time are you spending researching that company that you're going to go apply for this internship? How much time are you investing in your mental capacity and your social emotional intelligence? How much time are you giving and investing in relationships of people that have supported you? Are you showing gratitude? Where are we investing our time? You got breath in your lungs, the ability for the power of choice, and the same time in the day. Those are three things that we all have. So let me wrap it up with this. Once again, I'll go back to cooking. If you having a cookout and you invite me, I'm gonna ask you like how you cooked your meat, your proteins, right? For my vegans, I know this might not relate, but I know you can marinate some, tofu and all that. I'm gonna ask you like, hey, what kind of seasoning did you put on chicken? Did you marinate it? If you didn't marinate your proteins, guess what? I'm not eating the thing, and you're mad because you got all these leftovers. And you're like, hey guys, go ahead, we got some to-go boxes. Nobody wants none. It's gross. It's disgusting. Marinate your proteins, people. Let me talk to you. Where are you going with this, Tyler? I need you to marinate on this experience. I need you to marinate on this experience. What are you taking from it? What are you learning from it? I need you to marinate on what organizations am I looking to apply for to get an internship? What do I know about them? I need you to marinate. When you marinate things, the result will always be better. So I need you to marinate on these things. Now, let me leave you with these three things. I'll come back to what I said in the beginning. Be you, be new, and be glue. What am I talking about? Number one, I want you to be you. Essentially, what that means is you got to show up as your full, authentic self. Don't try to fake the funk. I don't, some people say it. I don't like it. I've never enjoyed that conversation when people get into it. When people say fake it till you make it, I just don't like that. You don't need to fake anything. Now you got to understand what's culturally and appropriate and what is business responsible. When you're stepping into these interviews and these organizations, you can't just be acting wild. But you got to realize that you got to show up as your full self. These organizations want you as your full self. So what does that look like? You got to be you. You got to be consistent with who you are. Know what your core values are. Know what you stand on. I would encourage you that the organizations that you apply for, the internships that you get, and this is even, I'm talking beyond internships, I'm talking career stuff now. Your core values should align with their core values. If there's a misalignment of core values, there's going to become a point in time where the money doesn't matter, you're not aligned, and you're not vibing with it. And it's going to put you in a tough emotional space. So you got to make sure you got to know who you are. So be you as you show up to these interviews. Number two is you got to be new. What does that mean? You got to look for new information and opportunities to increase your mental capacity and understanding. Like I said before, reflective experience is the best teacher. So as you go through this, you're going to go through a new process, new systems, things that you're probably not used to. You have to be open to those new concepts. So be new. And the last thing is be glue. You got to stick, this is corny, but you got to stick with what has got you to this point. Because obviously you've made it to this point for a reason. So what has got you to this point? What is it? Are you determined? Are you committed? Are you committed? Are you organized? Are you charismatic? Your charisma. Is your leadership got you to this point? Whatever it is, stick with the things that have got you to this point and ride with those. So it's much love and encouragement. What I would tell you is this again. You cannot see what you do not believe, and you cannot believe what you do not look for. So my question to you again, and the challenge for you is this. What do you believe to be true about your gifts and your abilities that you could provide to this world? And what opportunities are you seeking out to be able to enhance, grow, and implement those? It's much love and encouragement. Y'all go kill these mock interviews. Let's get it.
Thank you, Tyler, for sharing your wisdom and encouragement with the Eli 2023 candidates. My name is Sierra Villegas Hernandez, and I am the Manager of Data and Curriculum for the Emerging Leaders Program. I am so honored to be in this virtual space with you all today. Before we move on, we would like to take a step back and celebrate who is in the room. The first part of the Eli journey is saying yes and submitting your Eli application. This year, we had 437 eligible applicants representing 30 plus different colleges, and you have all been invited to the mock interview event. It is exciting for our team to welcome all of you into the Eli journey, and we walk alongside you as you build community in the Portland area. And this is the first year we have expanded our community to the Southern Oregon area as well. Additionally, 64% of you all qualify for either the Pell Grant, Oregon Opportunity Grant, or Washington State Need Grant, and 67% of those in the room identify as first-generation college students. We also like to highlight who all is in the room in terms of year in college. 87% of you are in your third year or above, and 14% of you are in your first or second year of college. We want to reiterate that you all are welcome in this space. As a program, we intentionally organize you into mock interview groups according to similar year in college. Another theme we like to highlight are the things that candidates look forward to when applying for Eli. 97% of you all are looking for mentors to help you navigate your field of interest and advance your career. More than half of you all will be the first in your family to graduate from college, and you are looking forward to building your professional network. And finally, 94% of you all desire support from an Eli internship that will value your unique voice in the workplace. Last but not least, we want to recognize that there are a diversity of sectors that candidates represent. So 31% of you all fall into the technology grouping, and 23% of you all are in the marketing and communications grouping, and 16% of you are in the people and engagement grouping. The additional job groupings are business and entrepreneurship, finance and accounting, and operations and projects. We just want to let you all know that you will be interviewing alongside these different job groupings, and you will likely have some candidates that are in a different job grouping than the one you are in while you're in your breakout sessions during the mock interview. Now I'm going to hand it off to my colleague Nick, and he's going to talk a little bit about the next steps in the Eli journey.
Hello, everyone. It's me again, Nick, wanting to share with you next steps. We're going to walk through next steps, including a timeline and summer events, so you have an idea of what to expect going forward. So over the next 2 weeks, you are completing mock interviews, and this is your opportunity to put your best foot forward. So that's happening tomorrow and next week, and we're really excited for that process. Evaluators will provide scores that will help us in the next phase. So during the mock interviews, we have interview evaluators that will provide feedback that will help us in the next phase. And that next phase is that process as we begin matching and going forward with that piece of the process. So I'll sort of dive in and share a little bit more about that. So we have the mock interviews, we have which are happening over the next 2 weeks. And then for the next month, we will be working tirelessly to match you. And so that's the matching process that takes place. So during March, this is your time to prepare for any company interviews and really just continue to, you'll get feedback and take that feedback and really continue to practice and get and prepare yourself for a potential interview that might come up, after you're matched. The EL team may match you with up to 3 positions, and it's not guaranteed, but it is. We'll work to match you, and we'll communicate with you on next steps and what's needed every step of the way. In April, companies will arrange final interviews, and then if you accept an offer and become an Eli intern, you will attend our orientation that takes place in June. So that'll take place on June 10th. For this next phase, so if you are selected and you, if an offer is given to you and you accept it, then you will move on and obviously be a part of the internship program, be an Eli intern. And we have summer events that take place that will start with the Eli orientation. That's Saturday, June 10th. And there are also workshops. So these are required events. There'll be one a month, June, July, and August, around like building self-confidence, skill development, and networking. And then you'll see there's some that are specifically to what it says Eli Tech events, and those are for tech-focused folks that are in tech-focused internships. And we'll communicate with you if that's something that's applicable to you. But we'll definitely make sure that you have all of this information in terms of the orientation, in terms of the workshops. And our goal is really for these summer events is to continue to help you and build you up, as I mentioned, in terms of like building self-confidence and developing practical skills and increasing your professional network. And so it's really around continuing to elevate you and continue to support you as you progress and grow. This part of the presentation is really wanting to make sure as an Eli intern or as a Eli applicant and candidate that you move into, here's some tips as you move into this next phase. Make sure you're checking your email and updating the portal account regularly. So that portal account is where you applied. So making sure you're checking your email and updating it regularly. You'll get communication, and so stay on top of that. Set up your voicemail box. Make sure you keep it empty. Sometimes mailboxes fill up, and you don't want to miss an opportunity. So make sure that you're, monitoring that, and make sure it's set up. And then also make sure that you're keeping it empty so that you can receive voicemails. Be responsive. Aim to reply within one business day. Right. So when you think about, you'll get communication between Monday through Friday between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. And so making sure that you're getting back within one business day, and really, wanting to make sure that you're on top of those responses, right? So, and you want to make sure that you're showing up and you're being all in. And part of that is being responsive when you get an email about a potential interview or about any step in the process that you're responding, whether it be to us, the Emerging Leaders team, or whether it be to a company, making sure you're responding and you're on top of it. Review the resources we sent you and continue practicing. The point of the mock interview events is obviously to help you and support you, but you can always level up, right? You can always, continue to improve and get better. And so we definitely encourage you to do that. Work on your resume and create and update your LinkedIn profile. So those are critical things, right? You submitted a resume, and maybe things have updated since maybe there's updates to make since you submitted your resume. So definitely encourage you. You wouldn't submit that directly to us because that part of the process has been, we've moved on from that part of the process, but it is something great to have. If you're invited to an interview, and if you do have an updated resume, to be able to share that with the organization. Also, LinkedIn is very important, and so I definitely encourage you, whether it's updating it or creating one, to make sure that is completed. Also, do your research and use your network. And so that's really important. Ask to connect with people from organizations you're interviewing at, right? So if you get an interview, encourage you to connect with folks, to learn more, right? Or people that maybe used to work at an organization. Like, just continue to tap into your network, and you'll likely meet people at the mock interview events that are potentially from these various organizations. So I encourage you to do your research on these organizations, on the companies that you're interviewing with, use your network, and that will help you to learn more about the opportunity ahead of being interviewed. If you asked your evaluator to connect with you, follow up. A thank you note has a valuable impact, right? So that's something that's, you can send a thank you note, and it could be, through a message on LinkedIn where you just reach out to them and appreciate them. So, appreciation goes a long way, and everyone, appreciate those thank yous. If you decide to withdraw, let us know right away. That's something important. Our hope is that you'll, continue through the process, and that you find an opportunity. But if you decide to withdraw, let us know right away, so we can update our records. And just make sure you do that. That's very important. Also, enjoy the experience. Lean in, soak up the information, and just, it's a fun time. It's an exciting time. I know it can be nerve wracking, but just really lean in, be encouraged, and really continue to just enjoy the experience and have fun. And it's a great opportunity to meet, fellow, applicants. It's also a great opportunity to meet, to build your network, right? By connecting with the folks that will be interviewing you as well. Right, when you're going through this mock interview event, soak it all up, and then as you lean into and potentially get offered interviews during the next phase, encourage you to just continue to lean in and give it your all. And we're so proud of you, and we want you to continue to be encouraged throughout this process. And lastly, stay connected with us, right? Stay connected to on social media. Share about your experience, right? At the mock interview event, share about your experience. Tag us on various social media platforms. We want to hear about it. Also share with us. Feel free to email us and share about your experience, and share how things are going for you and how things have went. So we want to continue to hear from you, and we're so grateful for you. And we, thank you to all of our volunteers, all of our company partners. Thank you to all the folks that advocate for us and support us. And thank you to our Eli applicants. We're so proud of you. We're so grateful for you. Thank you to everyone for tuning in to this time together. And we're excited for this season, right? And mock interviews starting tomorrow, but they also will be happening next week. And so excited, pumped, and grateful for you tuning in. Thank you for everyone that supports our work. I hope you have a wonderful evening. Take care.